Today I'm testing 6 of the best low-profile mechanical keyboards out there to figure out which one deserves your cash, your time, and your beautiful, delicate little fingers. Let's get typing. Well, it's been a while since I made one of these, folks, but since my last low-profile showdown, we've had a whole string of new brands and keyboards released that occupy this space, and they're all superb. So in this video, we're going to look at how they compare, and I'll do my best to rate them objectively so you can figure out which one you should be adding to your desk. And you might ask, how am I going to rate them? Well, I'm going to be looking at looks, features, customizability, price, and of course, the typing experience. And I'll also do my best to pick out the killer feature for each one, as well as any downsides you might want to consider ahead of making a purchase. Now, first up, we've got the Nuphy Kick75, and it sounds like a classic martial arts movie, but it is actually a hybrid profile keyboard. Don't be fooled by the toy-like looks here, because this is a serious bit of kit. You've also got Bluetooth and 2.4G wireless going on, you've got a knob, and you can choose between VIA support or customizability via Nuphy's own I/O software. But the killer feature is hybrid switches. And what are hybrid switches, I hear you ask? Well, this slimline-ish low-profile keyboard has got the ability to transform into a full-size, chunky keyboard. Pretty cool, eh? Especially if you're not sure what kind of keyboard you might need. It's also very well priced, starting at just $89 for the low-profile version, although watch out because the price can start to creep up once you've added in extras like different keycaps and switches and wrist rests and such like. And in terms of customizability, one of the cool things about this keyboard is that it's open source. So if you have access to a 3D printer, you can actually print your own components to make it a bit more your vibe. So looks wise, I'm going to be a bit harsh here and give this a 4 out of 10. It is quite chunky for a low profile keyboard, and I'm not wild about the childlike style considering what a great keyboard this is to use. I mean, think about it. Would you get in a car that drove like a Porsche but looked like a little Tykes cozy coupe? Well, at least this see-through case will let you see the tons of RGB lights on offer if that's your thing. Now onto features and customizability, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 here. You've got all the expected features plus extras like hot swappable switches and keys and a full gasket mount with plenty of sound dampening too, and of course that hybrid feature. But my challenge here is I'm not 100% sure who that is for. I mean, surely if you want a low profile keyboard, you're buying a low profile keyboard, right? Does anyone really want that transforming feature in their keyboard? Let me know in the comments. Now the other thing is that the Nuphy I/O software, which is the option you'll need to check if you want the best price, isn't quite ready yet. So I can't comment on how good or bad that is. We're just going to have to trust that Nuphy deliver on their promise. Now price wise, I think getting all of this for well under $100 is pretty wild at this point in time. So I'm happy to give it a full 10 out of 10 here. I'm not actually 100% sure how Nuphy are even making money from this. And finally, typing sound. Well, let me show you. Now, to me, this is super creamy, responsive, and pleasing to listen to. In fact, it's one of my favorite typing experience I've tried in the last 5 to 6 years. So I'm going to give it the full 10 out of 10 again. So the Kick75 is kicking off with 33 out of 40. Pretty strong start. Let's see what we've got next. Next, we have the Melgeek 02. This is semi-transparent, magnetic, and to me, it's extremely good looking. Kind of looks like if a iMac G3 and a modern MacBook had a weird little keyboard baby. In fact, this is designed specifically with Mac users in mind, but it does work just fine on Windows too. Well, Melgeek are usually known for their retro-feeling, chunky, mechanical keyboards and their super futuristic gaming options, so this clean, minimal look was a bit of a surprise for me. There's also some nice ambient lighting strips on the side to give it a glow, or you can fire up full RGB backlights, which will give you 16 million color options. And aside from the clean and professional looks, I think the killer feature here is that it's designed to sit on top of a MacBook without pressing any laptop keys by mistake, and you get these little magnetic feet on the bottom that let you adjust the angle for comfort. Plus, those keys are consistent across other Mac style keyboards, so you instantly feel more familiar if you're going to be switching between them. It's a really nice touch. On the downside though, there is limited customization. If you're into taking your keyboards apart and tweaking with the internals, this one is pretty much welded shut. Now you can swap the keycaps and the switches, but you're not going to be able to get in to the rest of the board. That might not be a deal breaker for you, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So onto points then. Now looks wise, I really like this one. It's got an aluminium alloy top border, but the rest of the board is transparent polycarbonate and ABS plastic on the base, and that makes it lighter, which is great for portability, but I rarely carry keyboards like this along with me. I'd have much preferred a full aluminium setup to make it more durable. Also, and I am being a bit picky here, whilst the font is clean and different, having those letters set off to the left sometimes makes my eyes go a bit weird. It's a strong 7, actually no, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for looks. Features and customizability, well there's loads of really good stuff going on, like the crazy 6-month battery life, being able to connect up to 8 devices, die-sub keycaps and the full set of Mac F keys, but I'm going to have to mark this down for being so impenetrable. I know proper keyboard fans like to dismantle these things, and having the internals completely locked down isn't ideal. 6 out of 10. Now price-wise, Melgeek's keyboards are usually at the higher end, and this one is $129, although as I'm making this video, they've actually got $20 off if you're quick with their code. It's a lot of keyboard for that kind of investment, and I think it'll smarten up any desk, no end. 7 out of 10. And then finally, typing sound. Let's take a look. Like the Nuphy, it's creamy, it's a bit more muted and a tiny bit heavier to actuate the keys, but the overall typing experience is just lovely. It's an easy 9 out of 10 for me. If it was a touch lighter, I'd be giving it full marks in this area. So the Melgeek O2 finishes up with a 30 out of 40. Not bad for their first ever non-gaming low profile keyboard. Not bad at all. Our next keyboard is the Lofree Flow Lite, and when I reviewed this last year, I was a bit puzzled as it took all the great things from their universally adored Lofree Flow keyboard and made it cheaper, lighter, and more customizable. So yeah, it's very low profile. It's got some super smooth switches and gasket mounts, plus a little metal rocker that you can use to adjust volume and even click to mute. It's pretty cool. I'd say the killer feature has to be the unique POM switches that Lofree make alongside Kale. They're about as buttery smooth as it gets and just super responsive, and almost everyone that I've shown this to loves the typing sound and feel instantly, even if they're coming from scissor switch keyboards like the ones that you get on MacBooks or Magic keyboards. As for downsides, well, if you're a fan of super colourful, brightly lit keyboards, you're only going to get a white backlight here, so sorry, no rainbow unicorn parties for you. Right, let's give this one some points. I think looks-wise, it's fine. It's not going to set the world on fire, and as I just mentioned, it's also not going to light up your desk like a Christmas tree like some of these other keyboards. You get 3 colour options to choose from, but Batman is not going to be happy about this one.
Does it come in black?
No, Bruce, it does not. Just white, grey, or pink, my friend. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 on looks. It's clean, but it's also a bit forgettable. As for features and customizability, well, unlike the original Lofree Flow, this one lets you customize it using their own key mapper software, and also gives you plenty of sound absorbing foam and a gasket mount into this tiny form, which I've got to give points for. But because those lovely switches are a particular make, you can't easily swap them out with other brands like Gateron because the pins are laid out a bit differently. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. 6 out of 10. And price-wise, this one also comes in at under $100 just, and that's pretty incredible really for the quality of this typing experience, which we are getting to. It's a 9 out of 10 on price. So on to typing, here's how it sounds. This will be no surprise, but this is absolutely superb to type on, easily up there with the Kick75 for me. I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. So all in all, the Lofree Flow Lite gets 30 out of 40 as well. This keyboard is absolutely unreal for the price. Every time I pick it up, I feel like I want to write a novel on it, or at the very least, a strongly worded email. Next up, we have the MQ80 from Iqunix, and this isn't so much a keyboard as a blunt force weapon. This is probably the most premium build of all the keyboards on show here, with a full aluminium case and a gasket mount, and check this out, a 350-hour battery life. Now, I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure this could survive a small nuclear blast if it needed to. It's still compact and low profile, but also this is a really heavy boy, like really heavy. And do you know what? I kind of love that. It's reassuringly heavy. If you put this on your desk, it feels proper. There are some odd quirks as well, and one of the main ones is that you can't actually switch this off properly. A lot of the others have got a standard off switch, and there is a command to put this keyboard into a deep sleep, but there's no external power switch. It's actually hidden under the caps lock for some strange reason. I'm not entirely sure about that as a design choice. That aside, looks wise, I do like this a lot. Lights off, it looks smart, professional, and it still has these little pops of red accenting some of these PBT dice of the keys, plus this little red metal strip here on the right hand side. It kind of makes it look like it's from the future. And then with lights on, you get a little accent light down the side here, plus south-facing RGBs across the board. For me, this is a strong 9 out of 10 for looks. Onto features and customization. Well, it's certainly well built with a gasket tray and 5 layers of sound dampening. And we're going to see how that sounds in just a second. It's also VIA compatible to let you remap your keys, which will please fans of faffing about with your switches. It also works if you wanted to sit it on a laptop to get that awesome typing experience, but without a full-blown desk setup. Plus, there are 16 million colors for your lighting effects, so whether you prefer something subtle and calming or a full-blown disco party, you're pretty much covered here. 8 out of 10 for me. I'm losing a couple of points for that weird omission of an on-off switch. Now, price-wise, this is the most expensive of the bunch at $159. Now, I have tested mechanical keyboards that are double, even triple the price of this one, and don't sound or feel as good. So I do think you are getting what you pay for here in terms of those premium features. But if you're after a budget price keyboard, well, this isn't really it. 7 out of 10. Onto typing experience, let's have a listen. So to me, this feels absolutely rock solid. You get a thocky, creamy, and a snappy feel to your typing. If anyone's ever used the original Lofree Flow keyboard with the ghost switches, to me, it feels very similar to that. And I reckon even if you didn't know the price, you could probably type on this and know that it just feels expensive. It's slightly heavier actuation than some of the others, but it's not going to trouble you if you're planning on writing a dissertation on this thing. It's an easy 9 out of 10 for typing. And all that makes the MQ80 a very respectable 33 out of 40 in terms of points. Next up, we're going from the heaviest board to the lightest. This is the Epomaker Carbon60. This is in many ways the ultimate portable low profile keyboard. It's even got a little strap attached to remind you that you can carry this around with you just in case you weren't entirely sure how it should be used. It kind of seems like it's designed to be thrown in a bag and then carted around with you most of the day. It is, however, a 60% layout, so get ready to struggle if you love arrow keys, F keys, or literally anything beyond the absolute basics. And looks wise then, as a 60% size board, this is pretty minimalist, and I know the carbon fiber look isn't for everyone. I actually quite like these little pops of blue that break up the brutally minimal black and white look, and yeah, to me it looks like a little racing car. I don't mind it. The keycaps are not shine through though, but you do get RGB lights if that's your thing, so all round I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 on the aesthetics. Now, features and customizability. This is pretty bare bones stuff, but it is VIA compatible, so if you're into modifications, you can tweak away and modify this in all the ways that you like. Now, the ABS plastic keycaps and switches are hot swappable, so if you want to add your own options, that's handy if you've got a preferred switch that you like to use. I actually found the Gateron red switches that were pre-installed just fine, but sadly, given the tiny form, you're not going to get gasket mounts here, even though there is a little bit of foam in the case. 6 out of 10 again, not too bad. Now on to pricing, and this comes in at just under $130. That's probably more reflective of the carbon fiber material used in the case than pretty much anything else, I'd say. But whether or not that's value for money probably depends on whether you really need something that is super portable, because this is the lightest keyboard in this collection by some stretch. Now for me, I'd say that's less of a priority, so I'm going to give this another 5 out of 10. I'd rather just have my arrow keys back, if I'm honest. And finally, typing experience. Now, considering there's no gasket mount in here, this is surprisingly solid to type with. Layout pains aside, I think it feels okay. It's obviously going to sound a bit more hollow and a bit more rattly compared to the others on show here, but it's not going to annoy anyone if you rock up to a coffee shop and whip this little thing out. 5 out of 10. That means the Carbon60 clocks in at 22 points out of 40. And last but not least, we have the Magi65 Pro, also by Iqunix. Now, this is quite an unusual low-profile keyboard, as you can see from the layout. It actually takes up quite a bit of space, but it's actually just a 65% size keyboard. And the reason it looks big is because this Pro edition also comes with an extra set of controls, namely this scroll wheel and also this plated X key, which gives you playback controls for music and media. And check this out, I've got my arrow keys back. Now, I really like this futuristic but clean aesthetic. Like the MQ80, it's got a full aluminium case and nice PBT keycaps that will be good and resistant to your greasy little fingers. And this one also has a gold plated plate under the switches, which you occasionally see glinting up at you. And well, there's really nothing more premium than gold, is there? You also get a replaceable metal home key in the box with this X design, which I am very much into. And if you're into lighting, you get a little light strip here, as well as customizable RGB backlight. I'd say for me, this is a 9 out of 10 on looks. Really like this one. As for features and customizability, you get a big battery life up to 300 hours if you're using Bluetooth and no backlighting. Plenty of built-in dampening, although there isn't any space for a gasket mount, so we'll see how that affects the typing sound and feel in just a second. And you can swap out the keys and switches as you like, as well as customize things using VIA. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. Price-wise, this is more on the premium side at just under $140 for this Pro edition with the extra controls, but if you want to save some money, you can just get the standard edition and save yourself $20. I think considering the premium materials and the overall feel here, that's a pretty fair price, so it's another 7 out of 10 for me. Let's check out the typing. So the thing that really surprised me most here was that even though this doesn't have a gasket mount, it's clearly got enough going on internally to give you a decent amount of dampening and cushioning, plus a very pleasing, muted, poppy sound to the typing experience. I like it. It's a solid 9 out of 10. Buttery smooth, built like a tank. Nice work with this one, Iqunix. It's a 32 out of 40. So let's round up with some final recommendations, and here's how the final scores stack up after all my testing. There's really not much in it in the top spots, and yeah, the Carbon60 came last. Great build, lovely switches, but that 60% layout is just too much of a compromise for my big fingers. So who should buy what? Well, if you want premium quality, low profile typing with a touch of minimalism, I'd say get the Magi65. It's compact, classy, and types like a dream. If you're wanting a good all-rounder that's loaded with features and future-proof, should you be thinking of moving up to a full-size keyboard at some point, go for the Kick75. It's basically like a Swiss Army knife for keyboards. If battery life and a bomb-proof build quality matter most to you, get the MQ80. It's an absolute beast. You might not need 350 hours of battery life, but I promise you, once you've had it, you're going to wonder how you ever cope without it. If you care most about having a really clean aesthetic rather than deep customization, get the Melgeek 02. That's probably going to be your winner. It's like the cool art kid of keyboards. It looks amazing, types great, and you just can't open it up. for surgery. My advice would be to just think about what matters most to you in terms of form, function, feel, or features, and then pick the keyboard here that works best with your workflow and also your desk setup aesthetic. Oh, and by the way, if you want to win yourself one of these keyboards, you can just sign up to my membership over on my website, as well as entry into my monthly prize giveaways. You also get behind the scenes exclusive videos every week, access to all my digital products, and much more for just the price of a couple of beers every month. Oh yes, and the first month is on me. Well, thank you for watching, you beautiful keyboard loving weirdos. Hit a like if you made it this far, and why don't you drop a comment below to tell me which one was your favorite. I will be judging you, but only in a very loving way. See you next time.